I think we're ready to start. On behalf of St. Nicholas Parish and also as part of the Town of Dighton's 300th anniversary, I want to welcome all of you here. Our presenter today is Dr. Manuel Luciano da Silva from Bristol, Rhode Island. He's a physician, a historian, an archaeologist, an epigraphist. He has published a number of books, one entitled Portuguese Pilgrims at Dighton Rock. The latest book was Columbus Was Portuguese. He has 13 copyrights registered with the Library of Congress. And we welcome Dr. Da Silva.
Thank you very much for the invitation. The lights out. All the lights out. Number one, thank you very much for coming on this rainy afternoon. 64 years ago, I repeat, 64 years ago, I was a student at New York University, pre-medical. And because in Portugal I had a wonderful teacher of history, and I always liked history because my father was a sea captain. He told me, when you go to America, I want you to go and see this monument, Dighton Rock, which has the name of a Portuguese navigator. So I said, okay. Then when I was in Brooklyn, New York, I started looking where Dighton Rock was. And I said, my God, it's so far away. How do I get there? Well, at the time I was 18. And in those days, to be an adult, you have to be 21. So I said, how can I get from Brooklyn, New York, to go to see Dighton Rock? I had to wait until I was an adult so I could get my driver's license, take the train from Grand Central to Providence, and then rent a car and look for Dighton Rock. So I did that. There were no highways. I was able to rent a car in Providence, came on Route 6, then came looking for Dighton. And when I got to Dighton, I saw no houses, no center of the town. I said, what the heck is the center of the town? Even today, it's tough to find out the center of the town. Imagine 64 years ago. So I went to a grocery store that still has the light, asked the lady, could you tell me where Dighton Rock is? Oh, I do not know. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. I said, ask that man. So I asked the man where Dighton Rock was. I do not know. So I was living in New York for almost 2 years. And when you're in trouble, you go to the police. So I asked them, what is the police station? They direct me to the police station. I told the policeman there that I was a student at New York University, that I was writing a paper about that rock. Could you tell me where the rock is? Oh, you wouldn't find it. It's on the other side of the river. The other side of the river. Well, we'll make a drawing, and I'll tell you to go to Berkeley Police. So, me, the greenhorn, takes the road and goes to the Bristol Police. Of course, when I got there, the policeman that was there was so kind to me. It was amazing. What a gentleman. I said, oh, you won't find it. Leave your car here. So he took me to see Dighton Rock. I'm going to show you the slide that I took on August 24, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 1948. What were you doing in 1948? Were you alive? 1948? This tells you how much long I have been involved with Dighton Rock. In 1961, I gave a lecture at the Boston Public Library. with so much enthusiasm. Because everything that I do it with vigor, with enthusiasm. And one lady said, "Doctor, I'm amazed. I never saw anyone speaking about Iraq with such enthusiasm. Why?" And I said, "Madam, because Dighton Rock is my mistress." Everybody had a good laugh. And I've been saying that Dighton Rock is my mistress until I found out that Dighton is the name of a woman. How do you like that? Her name was Frances Dighton. She was young and beautiful. Why? Because she married an old man. And the old man, in homage to her, gave the name of a farm, all this territory, including Berkeley, gave the name Dighton. And that's why our Dighton Rock came to me. Okay? Now let me start showing the slide. What I'm giving you is lecture number 511. And believe it or not, this is going to be my last lecture. My last public lecture. How come that thing doesn't go?
Porque tu apagaste.
Because from now on, I'm going to concentrate getting all my slides about Dighton Rock, Newport Tower, about Columbus and all that, to make videos. And here we are. All right, it's adjusted. This is a map published by the National Geographic magazine and does not have the name Dighton. How do you like that? Okay, here it is, Berkeley, Dighton Rock State Park, Fall River, New Bedford, Bristol. Look at this, on the heart of the Narragansett Bay. Narragansett Bay is a delta, has 11 rivers. And that's why when Miguel Corte-Real came, he was looking for the lost brother. That's why he went up the river. Why number 42? Number 42 is the latitude of the tip of Cape Cod. Because the Portuguese navigators, when they came from Lisbon to North America, they say, okay, our point of reference is the tip of Codfish at 42. And they left on May, and August the 20th, every caravel had to appear in front of the tip of Cape Cod. Those that appeared went back to Portugal. Those that did not appear stayed in the United States. In the year 1502, Miguel Corte-Real and his 20 men on the caravel Figa did not come to the tip of Cape Cod. Therefore, the other two boats went back, took with them Indians, 51 Indians, and Miguel Corte-Real stood on this side. But he left his calling card, his name, and the Portuguese symbols engraved on the Dighton Rock. How do you get to Dighton Rock? Taking Route 24, exit 10. Follow the signs, Dighton Rock State Park, 2 miles. We came up and bought the land to create a park. And then 3 years later, the state of Massachusetts expropriated the land to create the Dighton Rock State Park. So You can see how long far my name has been connected officially with Dighton Rock. The Dighton Rock Park has 100 acres. How big is that? It's as big as the Vatican in Rome. As big as Pope Benedict XVI. Equal to the area of Dighton Rock. This is the picture that I took on August 14, 1948. Look at Dighton Rock, like a crocodile. Look at the area of today's Stanton Yacht Club. See? 0. Isn't that interesting? No wonder I was born in the last century. Long time ago. So I had to come next day to look at Dighton Rock. I saw nothing because the face of Dighton Rock was covered with mud, sewage from the city of Taunton. You know, SHIT, that's the way Dighton Rock was covered. The Dighton Rock is an immigrant rock. He came to this area 11,000 years ago when we had the last glacier, and that's why you see boulders all around New England. You go to Europe, the same thing. And that's the reason why the rock is upside down. Weighs 40 tons. The area that has the inscriptions, the face, is 55 square feet. It's a big area. The first document that refers to the rock is the Writing Rock, because everybody wrote on it. As a matter of fact, some people say that the name Dighton is a corruption from writing. Now, they did not know that the true name was Francis Dighton. Okay? So it's not, that speculation doesn't hold any water. When the river was covered with ice, Dighton Rock was underneath, crying. And this is the reason why the top of the rock is broken. 1962, when I was at the Lay Clinic in Boston, I said, I'm going to propose a bill to get the rock out of the water. Hey, what a crazy idea. This Portuguese, well, look what he was going to do. Leave the rock in place. So much so, I have documentations, all this, on my website. So I spoke with the Representative Simonelli. He made a proposal. We had a public hearing. And let me tell you, when we had public hearing, a professor from Harvard University, Francis Rogers, came and spoke against moving the rock. Oh my God, I was so disappointed. This is cruel. I'm trying to save the monument. So, we lost 1 year. I spoke again with Representative Simonelli. Simonelli, no, doctor, no, we are wasting time. No, do it. No, I don't want to do it. Look, you propose the same bill. I'm going to find out at Harvard University when they have Easter vacation. During that time, we put to a public hearing. You a wise guy. Put it to it. We did that, and the goddamn thing was approved. And once it was approved in the House of Representatives and Senate, signed by the governor. It was published in the newspaper saying that the state of Massachusetts approved $50,000 to get the rock out of the water. Oh, Professor Francis Rogers was fuming. Nothing. You see the zigzags that you have to do? Now, when the rock was elevated, look at the size of the man. We did not know that the rock had this buttock. Look at how big. This is the part that is now oxidizing, and the state of Commonwealth does not pay any attention to this. Come on. For 10 long years, the rock got out of the water, was placed on a dry cofferdam, only with the protection of a chicken coop. I mean, the chickens are better protected than Dighton Rock. Look at that. Everybody threw rocks, Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola. Some of the kids went over and they stood on top of the rock urinating, protecting a state monument. Another bill, another public hearing, another $50,000 to build a pavilion. Okay? Now, looks like a chapel. This is the cofferdam. This is the pavilion. Now in the pavilion, you have Dighton Rock in a glass enclosure. This is not covered up by sewage anymore. This has become a precious stone. Precious stone. No vandals can anymore inscribe on it. Is that a difference? Is that a miracle? Four more years, when the Massachusetts Commonwealth was broken, I approached my fantastic friend Jean Long, chairman of Ways and Means Committee from Fall River. I said, Mr. Long, I'm here to ask you for $50,000, doctor. The Commonwealth is broken. I cannot do anything for you. I show him the New York Times. You know this paper? Yeah, the New York Times. Well, read it on page 8. He says that the Congress has approved $30 million for permanent structures to celebrate the bicentennial. So this newspaper is worth $25,000. Oh, let me get a picture. I bought the paper for you. And that Representative Long, he saw my determination. He did a lot of zigzag. I went to Portugal on vacation and he sent me a telegram. Doctor, you got your museum. How about that? Inside of the museum, the most complete maritime museum scientifically in the United States is the Maritime Museum of Dighton. Okay? It has a replica Vasco da Gama, the most important voyage 500 years ago, a gift from the Portuguese Prime Minister. This replica was 27 years in the Maritime Museum in Lisbon. It's here. This is a replica of Caravella Victoria that Magellan went around the world, 1519 to 22, 3 years less 11 days. A gift from the King of Spain, Don Juan Carlos. Do I have to tell you the maneuvering that I have to do together with my fellow members of the Friends of Dighton Rock Museum? The letters that we have to write. To give an example, we wrote a 3-page letter with copies of my books to the King of Spain. 1 month went by, 2 months went by, 3 months went by, nothing. Then in a meeting in my house, my wife said, like a wife always has the sixth sense, you guys want to get an answer from the king, send the entire letter on a telegram. is going to be delivered to the king on a silver platter. I said, okay. I went to the Western Union, gave him $68, and 3 days later, the ambassador from Spain calls me, His Highness has a great pleasure of offering you a model of Victoria. How about that? It is. Fantastic. Original document. No museum in the United States has such a thing. Now, we talk about Americans go to the moon and leaving the American flag. Now I went to the Mars, and that ruler left there the American flag. Well, 5 centuries ago, on the third period of the discoveries, the Portuguese took with them an already made monument, padrão, made out of marble. All the Portuguese symbols and the top, the cross of our Christ. I said, okay, we're going to write another letter, send copy of my books to the president of the Gulbenkian Foundation, Mr. 5% Shell. And my letter was so persuasive that Dr. Zered Portugal, 11 days later, said, we have great pleasure in offering you the padrão. Because I said, we don't need any money from you. Has to be done by our artisans in Portugal. Send it to us, 714 kilograms. Look at that. Campus of Rose. Now, another thing. The people of Massachusetts do not know the value of the Commonwealth. The value of Commonwealth 500 years ago was codfish and pine trees. Pine trees for the boats, for the houses. Okay? And John Rowe, before the independence of the United States, he said, I want to offer a codfish replica to be hanged in our House of Representatives. Of course, the others represents good nothing. Why do we have to spend money? What an idea, smelly idea. And John Rowe said, look, I didn't ask you to pay for it. I'll pay for it. Oh, if you pay for it, put it up. And it has been, look at this, on the House of Representatives, a symbol of the richness of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And the people from Commonwealth do not know of these truths. They don't teach these in the high schools. This is beautiful. But if the Museum of Dighton Rock is such a complete maritime museum, we should have the symbol of a codfish. Codfish, it is there. See the symbol there? Look at that. That's a beauty. And who should give it? The Academy of Codfish of New England. It's very much apropos. It's there. That's the most complete maritime museum that you have in the United States of America. When you talk about discoveries and the meaning and the significance of such a museum. We have inside of the museum 6 panels. 6. This one gives you the physical history of the Dighton Rock. I just told you. I was the one that did all these wavings in the wood. Okay, everything that you see in these panels. The cord, the glass, the screws, the numbers, the letters. My wife paid half and I paid the other half. Why? Because we are both nuts. Now, let me tell you, the organization that we have incorporated in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts It's a non-profit 501c3. We could submit the expenses and discount on income tax. I said to my wife, nothing doing. We're not going to do it. We never did it. Here is the picture of Miguel Cortrial. Did he exist? Did this man exist? That's the house where he was born. That stands today in Angra de Heroísmo in the island of Terceira in the heart of the Atlantic. The proof. This is the first passport to North America. A royal child, King Manuel, let it be known that Miguel Cortrial is even given permission to go on his trip to North America. Now, everything that I show you on my research is because I'm a medical doctor. For me to be a medical doctor, I have to be a scientist. And for me to practice internal medicine for 45 years without having one case of malpractice, I had to be a goddamn good physician. And I made my diagnosis based on electrocardiograms, based on the material things that I see, not because of hearsay. That's the way I conduct my research on Dighton Rock. Everything has to be documented. See? Everything has to be documented. Here is the most famous photograph of Dighton Rock in the entire world. This is a photograph taken by National Geographic magazine, published in January 1975. Picture taken at night, because Dighton Rock is like a woman. A woman is much more beautiful during the night. We men know that. Okay? This is the picture, me when I was young and handsome. 40-ton calling card. Dr. Manuel da Silva above theorized that Dighton Rock in Berkeley, Massachusetts, proves Portuguese explorer Miguel Cortrial was the first European to set foot in what became the United States. The sketch on the left shows Dr. da Silva's reading of some of the markings of the 1511, Cortrial's name, and the Portuguese coat of arms and the cross of Our Christ. We are going to examine this photograph close-up. We're going to examine the electrocardiogram in detail. Here is the final electrocardiogram. This is the conclusion of the original inscriptions on Dighton Rock. Flag number 1, the Portuguese coat of arms like you have here. Look at this. See it here? The U shape. Then the cross with 45 degree angles. Like created the idea of historical cartouche. Cartouche, the way Miguel Cortrial wrote his name, the Portuguese coat of arms in V-shape or triangular, U-shape, V-shape, the cross of Our Christ with the extremities of 45. And the number 5, the only European countries that use the Arabian numerals is Portugal and Spain, because the Arabs were not in other countries in Europe. And number 5, in cemeteries and tombs, in the 16th century, the 5 was written like a capital S. Okay? Here is the date engraved on Dighton Rock. Well, this is a drawing. Are we going to see close-ups? National Geographic magazine, taken at night. See? 1 and 1. 1, a big S, 1 and 1. You see this today. As a matter of fact, when I take people to see Dighton Rock, I say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to shut all the lights, completely dark. Don't be afraid. You've got to wait 30 seconds so that the rods and bastonets of your retina reconstruct themselves for you to see, okay? So, just pay attention. I'll tell you a joke, whatever, and then when your eyes are adjusted, then I'll show you the rock. And I use a flashlight. And everybody says, wow, wow, wow. They see the inscription. This is the coat of arms of King Manuel, the king of Miguel Corderial. Look at the shape. See? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm an American citizen. And I tell my sons, my oldest son Manuel is here, I said to them, I love America more than you guys do. And you were born here. I am in America now by my choice. My choice. You guys were born here, you had no choice. That's the difference. Okay? And if you today go to the Tanton Library, go to the Library of Congress, any library in the United States, and you consult any Anglo-Saxon encyclopedia, Britannica, Collier's, Old Book, any of them, they do not give, at this very moment, no information about the Portuguese coat of arms, no information about the cross of our Christ. That's a crime. That's an insult for a country as the United States of America that prides itself of knowing everything. That's wrong. Come on. I talk this way because I am an American citizen. I love this country. Look at the Portuguese coat of arms, a triangle inside a triangle. And then you're going to say, Doctor, show me one like it on Dighton Rock. That's what you see today when you go to Dighton Rock. Ladies and gentlemen, this is impressive. And Americans don't care anything about this monument. That's not fair. Everybody knows about the Portuguese Nautical School of Sagres. Look, all the crosses we have in the United States, U.S. Constitution. It's a school teaching. This is the school, academic school of Portugal, where the cadets, they study. Amazing, but look at the cross. Now, when we talk about crosses, and you go to Harvard University, see a big book there by Will Berry. He has a collection of all the crosses in the world, 317. But he has the cross of our Christ. Okay. Look at the National Cathedral, where Vasco da Gama, Camões. Next to the right here is a replica of Dighton Rock. Look at the cross of our Christ, 45-degree angle. You'll find this cross all over the place, in gardens, in churches, in cathedrals, in Brazil, in Angola, in Mozambique, in Guinea, in Go, all over the place. Because the cross, Portuguese cross of our Christ, is the only cross in the world that has the extremities terminating in 45-degree angles. Tower of Belém, a monument that was built in commemoration of all discoveries on the very place from where Vasco da Gama, Pedro Escobar, Bartolomeu Dias, Cortes Reais, everybody left Lisbon. Look at that. Well, that's what you're going. That's what you're going to find engraved on Dighton Rock. Another national symbol. Again, picture taken at night. Look at that little thing, see, going this way, that way, this way, and look at this. See? Look at the two national symbols. No other nation. We used to have a television program with the right individual stand up. That was an expression. I said, of 214 independent nations that we have in the world, we ask which nation has a national symbol, a triangle inside a triangle, stand up. Only Portugal can stand up. What about 214 nations that has cross of border Christ terminating in 45-degree angle, stand up. Only Portugal stands up. This is a combination of, putting all the names of the taken at night. Here, when I told you that these symbols exist that do not appear in any Anglo-Saxon encyclopedia, it's a pity. The coat of arms of Azores, where Miguel Corte-Real was born, the cross is there. This is his brother, Gaspar Corte-Real, the brother that he came looking for. Born on the same house that's still tender. In 1971, after 30 years of research, I published a book entitled Portuguese Pilgrims on Dighton Rock. 10,000 copies sold across America in less than 1,000 days. Okay? The name that I want to give to this book was Portuguese Intercourse in New England. Because in Europe, when we say intercourse, communication, intermingling. I'm having intercourse with you people. But in the United States, intercourse is coitus, is sexual relation. When I came to the United States 66 years ago, to be gay was to be happy. Okay? To be intelligent was now intelligence in the United States is espionage. Gay is homosexual. People change. Isn't that interesting? So I decided to put Portuguese Pilgrims and Dighton Rock. This is Prince and the Navigator, the statue that is in Fall River. I had to ask permission from the mayor. We had to get a ladder, etc., because they thought I was going to steal the statue. This is me, because I did not have a profile photograph of the Miguel Corte-Real. And looking back, be an ideal man like I am, to be a doctor, to defend Dighton Rock, I think my picture fits there very well. Now, I have a tremendous website in Portugal and a website in the United States. I'm going to give you papers for you to take home. I have this book entirely with photographs, everything on my website that you can read, you can print, can do anything free of charge. Because my wife, we have been doing this, as you can imagine, spending so many thousands of hours, for love. Didn't make any money with this business of Dighton Rock. I made my money in medicine, but not with my mistress. No, I love my mistress. And my wife also loves our mistress. Look at the influence, the power of a book. Rock of Dighton, a Rotary restaurant, the town where I had my high school. And a Portuguese-American industrial, Antonio Marx, they went for Bethlehem. He developed 5 companies. And because he had a son and a daughter that liked Portugal very much, he, when he came to the United States, was poor. He didn't have any place where they would sleep. I said, I'll build you an hotel. And nobody knew what the name of the hotel was going to be. When I published my book, Portuguese person, he asked me for a copy. I sent him a copy. Autograph. I said, Doctor, I need 5 more books. I have 5 different companies I want to offer to all my 5 friends. I sent him 5 copies. Autograph. And his secretary, Doctor, Mr. Marx wants you to send a bill. You tell Mr. Marx that I have so much admiration for him, I am not going to send him any bill. And then he honors my book, Rock of Dighton. Everybody thought that I was 50% owner of the hotel. No. No, I had no penny. I have slept, I have eaten there. But just to give you an impact, power of a book. The written word. Now, here we are in Tomar, center of Portugal, built by the Portuguese Templars. But a pope in cahoots with Philippe the Bel of France, they disseminated all the Templars. The Portuguese king, Dom Dinis, says, oh no, we are not going to eliminate the Templars. They have been our best friends for our independence and to defend country against the Moors that are still in Granada. So you know what the King Dom Dinis did? Said to the Pope, oh, we'll satisfy your wish. We eliminate the name of Templars, and we're going to keep the same men. Instead of them obeying the Pope, they obey the King. And I'm going to call them the Knights of the Cross of the Order of Christ, instead of Templars. And they became, from the Templars, became the headquarters of the Cross of Order of Christ. And when Prince Henry the Navigator was 18 years old, and this order of Templars was very rich, the richest in the country, Prince Henry had a dream of starting the discoveries. And he said, Papa, I have a favor to ask you. My son, I'm the king. Ask me anything. I want to be the administrator of the Cross of Order of Christ. The father, you're too young for that. Father, you said that you are the king. That anything I ask you, I'm your favorite son. No, I have to consult. So we consult everyone, and he nominated Prince Henry the Navigator to be the administrator of the Cross of Order of Christ. And that's from the Cross of Order of Christ they got the money to build the ships, to build caravels, to pay, to create his nautical school in Sagres. Smart cookie, that prince. Huh? Well, anyway, let's go inside. Inside of this structure, there is a round altar with 8 arches called Sharola, which is a copy of the whole sepulchre in Jerusalem, because the Templars when they returned to Portugal, they wanted to build a structure similar to where the hole the Jesus Christ was buried. 8 arches. Well, let's look around the Narragansett Bay and see if we find any structure similar to this. Interesting. Newport Tower, within the same Narragansett Bay. What do we see there? 8 arches. Look at Tomar, the headquarters of Cross of Water Christ, 8 arches, and Newport Tower. Another miracle. On the other side, opposite to Newport Tower, we have Ninegret Fort. And on the ruins of Ninegret Fort, we have Open Beach Conants that are now in the Brown House in Providence. Nobody pays attention to this. I'm the one that has been smelling these things. Okay? Well, if this was examined by the Metropolitan Museum in New York and said that's a cannon that was used only at the end of the 15th century. Okay? We know now in Beja, Portugal, where these cannons were built. This is the military in Lisbon. Also in the ruins in Ninegret Fort, a sword was found. A sword. Look, see? It's also on the Brown House in Providence. Here we have Portugal. We have the sword in Ninegret Fort. And this sword is from the Military Museum in Angra, where Gaspar and Miguel Cortrial were born. Here we are, explaining to you again this Beauty 42. I have in my hometown a foundation, a house where I was born, and we have a library next to it. And this morning, at 10 o'clock our time, I had the priest of the bishop of the parish where I was baptized to give an open-air mass. And I gave him my message. Say that tomorrow at the Dighton Rock State Park we are celebrating Saudade Day, or Nostalgia Day, to celebrate the departure of Gaspar, Miguel, etc. Six pages in his book, published in 1928, saying that the devil made the inscriptions that are right. Oh, come on. A certain idea is stupid. I mean, you can get all the names that do not appear in the dictionary to classify this. Another one is Jesus Christ. How come Jesus Christ came to Dighton Rock to do the inscriptions on Dighton Rock? And people still write about this. That's stupid. Romans. They were busy building their Colosseums, their cloacas and all that. Phoenicians, Egyptians, look at the Jews. Carthaginians, Chinese. Vikings, oh yeah, look, Verizon. 21. All these hypotheses are simply stupid. Stop it. They do not make any sense. Then me just give you one example. A Phoenician. Okay? How come Phoenician theory came to Dighton Rock? In 1781, Cortege Blanc in Paris, France, who was a researcher of the origin of the word, found out that the word for penis was follows and was first used in Phoenicia. So he took a look at the drawing of Dighton Rock inscription made by Stephen C. Wall in 1768, and without ever seeing Dighton Rock, he decided to add a penis to the drawing, and this way the Phoenician theory for Dighton Rock was born. Look what he did. He added a penis. You see the penis there? What the heck? Come on. And in this country of ours, the United States of America, we have people that still write about this. That's criminal. You want to see the Viking? You know, we have a lot of people in this part of the world from the Vikings. I'm going to show you why the theory of Viking came up. Again, I am examining this like I am examining an electrocardiogram. We examine electrocardiogram with millimeters. I'm not an adventure historian. I examine this thing as a medical doctor, which the Dighton Rock was never examined this way. Never. Look at this. In 1834, Rhode Island Church Society of Prominence, Rhode Island, sent Christian Raff of Copenhagen, Denmark, a copy of the Dighton Rock inscriptions, based on the tradition of the Viking sagas that a Viking navigator named Thorfinn came to North America in the year 1000. Raff decided to alter, to change the center of the drawing of the Dighton Rock inscriptions which he received from America. Look what he did. He added 3 letters, F-I-N. This is fraud. Look what he did. F-I-N. You don't do this to an electrocardiogram because you are sued, you go to court, and you lose. How come you change the electrocardiogram? Now, of course, my friends Irish and the Vikings and Scandinavians and Sweden, they get all upset with me. All upset with me. Okay? Now the Vikings have a square rigger, a sail square, cannot navigate against the wind. The great discovery of the Portuguese was the triangle Latin sail that can zigzag against the wind. Those were the Portuguese that were able first to navigate in the high seas. Give a credit where credit is due. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final slide. When you talk about Dighton Rock, there are only 3 men that spend more than 30 years of their life studying Dighton Rock. Professor de la Barre, there was a professor of psychology at Brown University, a scientist that bought a summer home in Berkeley. He bought a summer home, beautiful house, with 22 acres of land. You know what he called it? Miguel Cotrial Farm. Isn't that beautiful? Okay? And this is from Brown University. This is, of course, a teacher at New York University. I met him there when I was a student. 1948, the NYU was the greatest university in the United States. And let me tell you, New York University has 22 Nobel Prizes. My first alma mater is not something else. 22 Nobel Prizes. Okay. He was a teacher of Portuguese, and when I look at the catalog, I look at that, Portuguese. I thought in America nobody knew what Portugal was. So I went to see him, sir. Oh, yes, he was all surprised, we became friends. And then we did things together with Dighton Rock. And me, the nuts doctor, okay, graduated from NYU and graduated from the best medical school in Portugal, Coimbra, okay? My wife and I, we have been really having a lot of fun with my mistress, our mistress, James Dighton. I want to thank you very much for coming. Thank you. Now, those of you that go on my American website, you'll find out that my website is divided in two editions, Portuguese and English. And then each edition is divided in history, medicine, social, and family. Okay, all in that order. And let me tell you, you're going to find hundreds, thousands of articles on my two websites. On September the 5th, my friend, I'm going to be 86 years old. How much longer do I have? I don't know. But let me tell you, you can judge my voice. I still have a few more lectures to go. Thank you very much.
Hopefully many more.
We'd like most of it is Portuguese food, and it's all labeled, so enjoy yourself. There's coffee, punch, and an iced coffee.